Golden Eagles went 3-9 last year. They opened their 2024 season August 31st at Kentucky. Represented today by head coach Will Hall and our student athletes Ty Mims, a junior wide receiver from Bay Minette, Alabama, and Jaleel Clemens, redshirt senior linebacker from Macon, Mississippi. We'll begin with opening remarks from Coach Hall, and then we'll take questions both for Coach and the student athletes. Coach?
All right, man, really excited to be here going into year 4, representing the University of Southern Mississippi in my home state, the great state of Mississippi. Excited about these 2 kids we got here, these 2 young men now. Jaleel Clemens, recent graduates, playing defensive end now in our new 4-man front from Starkville, Mississippi. He's done a phenomenal job becoming a team leader and expecting great things out of him as a pass rusher this football season. And Ty Mims right here out of Baldwin County High School in Mobile going into year 3. Both of them are going into year 3 with us. Ty is nearing graduation in sports management and is doing a phenomenal job as well. And both of them are very, very deserving of being here. Like I said, man, we're excited about 2024 with this football team. You know, as you look in today's day and age of college football, there's really 2 ways to build your roster. There used to only be 1, but now there's 2. Number 1 is recruiting, which has always been the case, right? And we're very blessed to have recruited really well here for 3 straight years. You guys know we've got a top 3 recruiting class for 3 straight years. We have the number 1 class in this league on signing day this past year. But the second way is through retention and retaining your roster. It's not good enough anymore just to recruit well. You've got to be able to keep them. We've been able to retain our good players here, you know, and that means these players believe in our coaches, they believe in our strength staff, they believe in the opportunities that are provided to them by the University of Southern Mississippi. They believe in the opportunities that have been provided to them to the top collective. And because of that, recruiting 3 consecutive recruiting classes, have been able to retain them. Now, we've got a lot of excitement going into 2024. We've got more depth, we've got more experience, we've got more guys that have played college football than we've ever had. I think when you look at our defense, I think it all starts with the defensive line. When you look at our interior defensive line, we've got 4 kids returning that have played a ton of football. You know, Jalen Williams, who was the number 1 junior college recruit in America and transferred to us from Arkansas, will be a 3-year starter. Also with him, you got Armandus Cooley at 3 Technique, who's an SEC transfer, who'll be a 3rd-year player for us out of Wayne County, who's played a lot of great football at nose guard. D'Amico Rowland will be a 2-year starter who has played great football for us last year at the end of the year. And Brodarius Lewis also at nose guard out of Prattville, Alabama, is a 3-year player for us. So a ton of experience right there. We've got some young guys, a lot of highly recruited young guys that are adding depth. Caleb Moore, Miles Adams, Elijah Douglas, Zay Lowry, and Eli Fuvai. On the edges at defensive end, we returned 3 players that have played a ton of football. Jaleel Clemens is one that's here with us today, has solidified himself as one of the top pass rushers in all the group of 5. He'll be a 3-year starter. Kristen Booth's a 3-year starter for us at the field end, has really been an anchor and a great leader. And then Eric Thomas, who transferred in from Arkansas last year and played a ton of minutes for us. We added some great transfers on the edge with Caleb Bryant from Mississippi State, Ryan Johnson from Akron, Jameer Lewis was a great junior college pickup, and Khalid Moore from Mississippi State. We added 2 young guys in Tremont Henry and Jalen Owens. So just a ton of depth and experience of people that have played on the defensive line. When you look at linebacker, we returned Jalen Sims, who played a ton of minutes for us last year at linebacker, and we added some transfers that have a lot of playing experience. Des Baker from Western Kentucky, Avery Sledge from Mississippi State, Trey Pinckney out of this conference in Coastal Carolina. All those guys have a ton of tackles in college football and have played a lot of minutes and provide a lot of experience. We also have some good youth there in Jacob Johnson, and then Chris Jones was one of the more highly recruited signees in all the group of 5. At our nickel position, we moved Dylan Lawrence there, who started every game for us last year at safety. Dylan was a transfer from Mississippi State, has really become a team leader and has played a ton of minutes in the Sun Belt Conference, along with Kobe Cage, who started 4 games at Arizona 2 years ago and transferred to us last year and played a ton of minutes and brings a lot of experience. We added Dante Kelly as a transfer from Vanderbilt, and Miles Jones is a redshirt freshman. When you look at our cornerbacks, again, same thing. A lot of people that have played a lot of minutes in this league and played well. Michael Caraway's got a chance to be a 2-year starter, 3-year player for us. Brendan Tolles is a 2-year starter, 3-year player. Zay Franks will be on his 4th year with us. We added some great transfers in Will James from Mississippi State, who had a dynamic spring. Vanoris Cheney from the Mississippi Junior Colleges, along with some good youth in Will Drickus Johnson and Damian Miller, who played in the prestigious Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game. At safety, again, Elijah Sabatini returns at safety, a transfer from Ole Miss, played a ton of minutes for us last year. Jay Jones will be a 4-year player for us who started a lot of games. Hayes Puckett's played a lot of games. Quez McNeil started several games, along with Cam Knox, who's a young guy that's really growing in our program. We've added some high-level transfers, Braxton Myers from Purdue and Ole Miss, and Jordan Johnson from Mississippi Junior College, along with Satario Willis, who's a young guy we redshirted. He's got a chance to be a really good football player. So defensively, we feel like we return a ton of production, a ton of highly talented kids that are going to be able to play at a high level. In the special teams, we got Bryce Lofton back, who punted every game for us last year, but we added Bart Edmiston, who was the top punter in the Mississippi Junior College. There's an intense competition there. At kicker, Andrew Stein's back, along with Connor Gibbs, who kicked a lot for us as a freshman. Both of them have kicked in games. Intense competition there. And Brennan Milliron is back, at snapping. Returning to football, we got this guy right here who, as y'all know, has been one of the more dynamic players in this league. We expect big things from him this year. When you flip over to offense, one thing that's been really good for us going into this offseason is we feel like we're going to play a quarterback this year that's played in college football and played at a high level. We returned Ethan Crawford, who played in 6 games as a true freshman, started the last several, played at a high level, won some games for us. Then we added a transfer in Tate Rodemaker, who's played 23 games at Florida State and won some big-time games for them. So regardless of who wins that battle, and they're kind of out in front right now, it's going to be somebody that's played college football and played at a high level and played winning football. Along with that, we've added John White, who's Mississippi's all-time passing leader as a true freshman. He early enrolled in spring ball and had a great spring. At running back, we returned Drake Clark, who was having a phenomenal season for us. Drake started 12 games at Memphis before transferring to us. He broke his hand late in the year, missed the last several games, but was having a great year for us. And then Kenyon Clay, who's a redshirt sophomore, who's done some really good things and has waited his turn and has got a chance to be a good one. We had 2 young guys, J.Q. Gray, who redshirted, and Jalen Washington, who was the North Mississippi Player of the Year out of high school. At tight end, we returned Justin Reed, who started a lot of games for us last year as a true freshman, had a great spring. We added 2 transfers in Kyron Heath from Ole Miss, and also Teron Bedford out of Mississippi Junior College. And then we added a true freshman in Reed Jeselowski, who was the private school player of the year in the state of Mississippi, and has been phenomenal from what we're hearing this summer, and has got a chance to play as a true freshman. On the O-line, we got a lot of returning depth. Our left tackle's back, started every game. Gabe Cavazos was transferred from Mississippi State. And then Greg Nunnery, who was one of the top junior college players in this state. And we've got 2 young guys in Tank Welch and Chris Hayes who have been a part of our program at Bright Futures at guard. We added 2 transfers at Dante Lucas and Zach Conti, who started every game where they were at their previous schools and have played college football at a high level. They were here all summer and Conti through spring. We also have Claiborne Pollard and Will Saxton back. Claiborne played in every game for us last year, and Saxton played in a bunch. And we added a transfer in Joe Cryer from LSU as well to compete. And then at center, Drew Lawson's played a ton of minutes for us at center. And we've got Luke Rogers, who was a highly recruited young kid at center. So more depth and more playing experience than we've probably ever had in our program on the O-line. At receiver, at slot receiver, we got a ton of experience returning. Ty Mims, 2-year starter for us, proven himself to be a great player in this league. And then Chandler Pittman, who's a 4-year player for us and has made a lot of plays in this league through his career here. On the outside, we don't have as much experience returning. We got Davis Dalton and J.J. Butler, who are 2 young kids, 2 sophomores, who have played for us. But we added 4 transfers there, and Larry Simmons and Dennis Jackson, who are former 4-star recruits, transferred to us from the SEC, along with Keyshawn Buckley and Dakota Thomas from the junior college ranks. And we got a young guy in TK Keys that's competing there. So we got a lot of returning experience in the slot, not so much on the outside, but we do have talent that's competing there. So as you can see, man, like I said, we're excited about 2024 because we've recruited well, we've been able to retain. There's a lot to like about this team, and I'm really excited to coach them. So with that, we'll open it up.
At this time, we'll open up the floor for questions for Coach Hall and the student athletes. For those of you in attendance, please raise your hand for questions. A microphone will be brought to you. For those of you joining us on Zoom, please remain on mute. Type your questions into the chat, and we'll read those in the room.
Hi, Will. You mentioned your top recruiting class. You recently lost Joe Marino, who was a key part for your recruiting to the NFL. You guys have Landon Smith listed now in his role. What does he do for you guys? What can he bring to kind of maintain that level for you guys?
Yeah, so Landon's been with us through the get-go of this program. We came in, we're going to get back to recruiting our footprint, which we've done. I think 95% of our roster is from that footprint we outlined from the moment we got here. Reed Stringer's our general manager. He sets everything up. You know, we know this area. Our staff's recruited this area. Joe did a phenomenal job as our personnel guy, you know, liaison to the NFL, preparing our guys to get to the NFL. He did a great job evaluating, and that's why the Ravens wanted him as a scout. He's a great evaluator. Landon's been under him and under Reed Stringer. Landon's going to do a phenomenal job and keep it going, and we're going to recruit the same way we've been recruiting. That starts with me through Reed Stringer and all the way throughout our program. We're certainly happy for Joe. You know, as a head coach at this level, you want to hire good young people, you want to help them grow and develop, and you want to see them get to the highest level. Joe's career goal is to be a general manager. He's with the Ravens now, and he'll do phenomenal for them, and Landon will do phenomenal for us.
Hey Coach, Jeff Mikowski, WX6B Sports. You mentioned how successful you've been in the portal. Just what are some of the boxes that need to be checked when looking at a player that you might want to bring in, and what are some of the things that you saw in Cleveland that you liked?
Yeah, so for us, it's all about our footprint, you know, which we identify as Mississippi, Southeast Louisiana, Lower Alabama, and the Panhandle of Florida. We don't necessarily care if a kid's a high school kid, a junior college kid, or a portal kid. We just want them to be from that area because we will have known their past. We would have recruited them when they were young. We know their people. Usually we have some connection to some family member. And in recruiting, to me, is all about eliminating mistakes. How many possible mistakes can you eliminate before you bring a kid into your program? So if they're from that area, we can check a lot of boxes off. If they're going to be a cultural fit, if they're going to be an athletic fit, and that's the way we've gone about it. We haven't wavered. And again, man, I just think we built a roster that is. We're excited about 2024. We think it can compete in this league and compete well.
Hey Coach, Blake Brandon, WLOX TV here in Biloxi. You are a very proud Mississippian, and you've built your roster to kind of reflect that as well. Not only in the high school recruits, but also in the transfer portal. More than half your roster is made up of Mississippi guys. So how important is that for you, not only in the high school recruiting, but then looking for guys in the transfer portal as well that are from the Magnolia State?
Yeah, really the same thing. You know, it's all about that footprint for us, not necessarily just Mississippi. It's just so happened that as we built this program back, more Mississippi kids have gravitated to it. But we got great players from Alabama, Southeast Louisiana, and the Panhandle, guys from Mobile. You know, so it's just about that footprint for us. We want to cater to that footprint. We feel like we said we were going to do that when we got here, and we've come through on that.
Got a Zoom question. Coach, this is for you, and also for both Ty and Jaleel. This is from Garrett Busby, WLBT. There was a lot of change made this offseason after last year, especially with the hires of Chip Long and Clay Bignell as the new offensive and defensive coordinators. How's the team adjusting to the new systems, and how's the atmosphere approaching fall camp?
Jaleel, why don't you talk about Coach Bignell first?
Well, you know, Coach Bignell, he's a guy that, he's a great leader. You know, he's the guy that all the defensive players, we're willing to run through a wall for him. You know, I think he has a great scheme, you know, a scheme that just lets us line up and just go, you know, a 4-down front. Last year we ran like a multiple 3-down, 3-4 defense where I played outside linebacker. This year I'll be making a full transition to defensive end so where I can get on that quarterback like I want to. So yeah, I love the scheme. You know, everybody loves the scheme. Everybody thinks that this is a scheme that we can just come in and make plays and just be ourselves. So we love that about it.
Ty, talk about Coach Long.
Coach Long, he really he loves his playmakers. He really just wants to score a lot of points and do that, and he really makes his plays off his players, and he just want to make all his playmakers just get the ball. Coach Long, he holds us to a higher standard, and we expect him to do that, and that's what we would want Coach Long to do.
Emmanuel Peppers, Sunbelt Conference. And Jaleel, this question is for you. Just talking about, Coach mentioned about the defense and how many guys you're returning, especially up front. How advantageous is that going through an off-season where normally rosters at the college level change so much, to be able to have those guys that you all have an understanding of each other and how each other plays and your playing style, and how much of an advantage does that give you going into this year?
Well, you know, we all just got a good relationship with each other. We always try to make each other better every day, let each other know what we need to work on and what we're doing good, you know. We just together, you know, and the transfer we brought in, the transfers we have brought in, like Jameer Lewis, you know, Ryan Johnson, you know, we still got guys like Christian Booth, you know, Eric Thomas, and the guys in the interior that Coach Hall talked about. I just think we all just got a good relationship with each other, and as we work together, we just keep on getting better.
Coach Scott Watkins, Center Hill, and you guys can answer this as well. You talk about the recruiting and the retention. What are the gaps that have to close this year in order to compete?
We're just excited about playing this season. You know what I mean? I mean, because of, we came in here with the end in mind with how we built it. We wanted to build a program that lasted and could stand the test of time. It was never a quick fix for me to win and get out of here. I love Mississippi. I love Southern Miss. So we built it to last. We built it over a period of time, and we've recruited really well. A lot of people think so, not just me, and we've retained really well. And so we're going into year 4. It's time to start reaping the rewards of that, and I'm excited to coach this team. I really am.
For Ty, just curious how you kind of come into the role of being a leader in the wide receiver room, and because you're one of the only returning players from the wide receiver room in that area.
You know, they all look up to me. I've been there for a long time. You know, they see me as an old head is what they'll call it. But you know, I get them a lot of knowledge. I got a lot of experience, and I just share my experience with them, and I just want our room to be great. So like we take all the things that we all know, then we spread it to each other.
Thomas Terry, KTSW Sports. Really for Ty and Jaleel, I just want to know who's the best in the locker room in CFB 25?
Me.
I don't know about him. It might be Dennis Jackson though.
Got a question from Zoom for Coach Hall. 2 of the guys in your top-rated high school class in the Sun Belt, Chris Jones and Reed Jasolowski from Hartfield Academy, are set to join the team. Have they arrived on campus? If so, how are they adjusting to the college level?
Yeah, they all arrived, you know, when summer school started in late May, and they were 2 of the ones I pointed out earlier. Reed has been phenomenal. He'll play this year at tight end, and Chris is going to play as well. He's in a great competition with some older guys at linebacker. We have to have a lot of older guys at linebacker, so Chris is pushing them, but Chris is some kind of talented, and he's doing a great job every day learning our system, and he's going to be a really good football player.
For Coach Hall, you mentioned your quarterbacks. As you guys head into fall camp, what is it, and you evaluate that position, what is it you're looking out of those guys that you need to see for them to be the starter?
Yeah, you know, for us, I mean, everybody, you know, always makes a big deal out of naming the starter. I mean, we're going to compete at every position all the way through fall camp. That's what it's all about. I mean, shoot, Ty knows he's got to compete every day with Chandler Pittman. Jaleel knows, you know, so we're going to compete at every position. I always name all the starters as we get ready to go into week 1. And so that'll be about 10 or 11 days before game 1. We'll name them all. And but like I said, I'm excited about this quarterback room. You got a young guy, John White, who was an unbelievable recruit and talent for us, had a great spring. He's a little bit behind just because he's younger, but he's a little bit behind Ethan and Tate, but Ethan and Tate have played. So whoever starts that game 1 between Ethan and Tate, more than likely it'll be one of them 2. I mean, they've played. They played college football. They've been in that arena. They played at a high level. They played winning football. So I think that's something that's been a little bit of a spark of enthusiasm through our skill kids on offense that's kind of permeated throughout our team all through spring and throughout the summer.
Dominic Crusetto, College Football Dogs and Sunbelt Syndicate. Ty, you talked about getting the ball in playmakers' hands. Obviously, you are one. You also had one last year and a couple years before that with Frank Gore Jr. Do you guys kind of go off of each other and see how you both see the field and what could help you, you know, in the return game as well as just in the open field with your speed?
Yeah, me and Frank, we still talk every day to like this day. You know, Frank always tell me that me and him gotta play with a chip on our shoulder because we ain't the biggest, we ain't the fastest. So like he was telling me that nothing is not gonna get handed to me. So like I take that for granted. I thank Frank for just giving me his knowledge, and we try to make our game similar. I take the stuff what he do from his game, and I put it in mine just to make me a better player.
Craig Stevenson, ALICOM coach. You played and coached in the playoff system at Division II. What do you think about FBS kind of moving more toward that model?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity for our conference because our conference has pretty much solidified itself as the best Group of 5 conference year in, year out when you look at all of the rankings and power rankings from ESPN throughout. So whoever wins the Sun Belt is going to have a chance to be in that conversation and have a great opportunity to get in it, which is a really, really cool deal for this league and the players of this league. So I'm excited that it expanded to 12, and man, we look forward to competing in this league, to have an opportunity to do it.
Coach, just when you talk about Ty Mims, his skills, his talents, what do you kind of compare him to just watching him? Obviously, he's one of the most electric guys in the Sun Belt.
Well, me and Ty on the ride down here, we were talking about the game earlier. Ty's a little salty because Chandler Pittman's faster than him on the game. All right, Chandler's been giving him heck about that too. But no, the thing about Ty has a unique ability for the first person to never tackle him. He's a lot stronger than what he looks for his size. He can run through arm tackles. He obviously can make you miss. He's a dynamic returner. He's fearless. He's a guy that I think Jaleel would tell you and the rest of his teammates you could count on him. And that's something we talk about in our program is, can you be counted on when it's hard? Because successful people manage hard way better than unsuccessful people. Everybody's life's hard at times, but you got to be able to manage it. Ty's managed hard a lot in his life. Ty's very successful, and he's just on he's at the tip of the iceberg of all the success he's going to have in his life, not just as a football player, but as a man as well.
We've got a question for all three of you guys. Just talk a little bit about, that retention. What is the support system in Hattiesburg meant to all three of you and just the campus in general? And how do you feel like that plays into the retention?
Jaleel, you go first.
Well, yeah, the fans, I just love the fans. Every time, if I'm even just walking around, I get in an Uber or something, they always got something good to say. Like, even if we lose and they really are down for Southern Miss, they really love Southern Miss, even when we're down, even when we're not winning, they still might be a little mad at us, but at the end of the day, they just want us to win because I know that Southern Miss history shows winning, and that's what we plan to do for them. That's what I want to give fans.
I think it's about the culture here. We love the fans. The fans love us, and we just appreciate our fans. A lot of us could have left, but we stayed, and that's because the culture here. We love the culture, and they do a lot of things for us. Even the coaches, they do a lot of stuff for the coaches. They keep it real here.
Coach, bit of a business question because I know you're hard to work off the field as well. The landscape continues to evolve, of course. Revenue sharing on the horizon, expanded scholarship limits, all that stuff. How important is it for a school like Southern Miss to be prepared and well positioned for that?
Oh, it's the utmost important because there's going to be a lot of changes coming. And I think we've got an unbelievable administration from Dr. Joe Paul to Jeremy McClain, our athletic director. We've got a full-time guy running our collective in Peter Bain. There's very few Group of 5s that have that. And we feel like we're out on the forefront with our collective and doing great things. It's growing daily, and our fans are starting to embrace it. And that's something we're continuing to push as a university through all these changes, is growing in every way that we can for this new landscape that's coming.
Got a Zoom question from Garrett Busby, WLBT, for Coach Hall. The DB room suffered many injuries throughout last season. How have those guys who have come back, how are they recovering, and how has the room as a whole performed during the offseason?
Yeah, I went through it earlier, but, for Garrett, he ain't here, but, we got a lot of returning production back at DB. Like I said, I named all those names. I won't make y'all suffer through it again, but, tons of production, tons of third-year and fourth-year players that were highly recruited kids. They're all back and completely healthy. And it's just more depth than we've ever had back there and more talent than we've ever had back there. And we're excited about that group.
Will, to kind of bounce off that collective question from earlier, you've had, I guess, a more innovative way of gaining members to the collective off of a Grimace burner account. Did you ever envision that would be how you gain interest to the collective? And is it a fixed calculation of how to add members?
To me, it's been all about educating people this off season. We started on January 1st with this quest, if you will. And it's been a group effort, from Dr. Joe Paul to Jeremy McLean, allowing me to do this. I thank them so much, all the way through Peter Bain, who runs our collective. But we've met with people, we're trying to educate people, because Group of 5 NIL is so much different than what people think. Everybody thinks it's driving up in Cadillac Escalades and Lamborghinis, and that's not what it is, you know. And so as far as that, you know, our fans, we got a lot of Southern Miss fans on social media, and they say some things from time to time, and I just want to let them know, you know, man, if you'll help us, I'll do, yeah, you know, we can make a deal, you know. Growing the collective is so important that, and that Grimace thing, that was a lot of fun. I just try to have fun with them. You know, our fans are a lot of fun, they're very passionate, and I try to have fun with them too on the things, and we're trying to grow our collective together.
With no more questions from the floor, Coach, Ty, Jaleel, thank you for being here. Good luck to you in the coming season.
Thank you so much, guys. To the top.
Thank you.
We will be back in 4 minutes with the Red Wolves of Arkansas State.